Yo, yo, yo! What is up, Hermit Style? We are back again with our boy Sublett, back off of his top 8 at Nats. And what did he do today?
I got first place at the Mesquite Dallas Regional.
That's what I'm talking about. Easter weekend, got the first, got his sweet prizing, half of it done. He's got to go get the other half later. What deck did you play today, Sublett?
I played, and this will be shocking, U7. Um,
Wow, so surprised.
yep. So, yeah, I'm still on U7. The ban list came down. We lost Cooler, we lost Bergamo, and neither of those really mattered. The thing that really mattered was they put Kamehameha to 1. And so that changed the way a few matchups went. But I typically did not burn more than once a game, so it's more that I've lost the negate than anything else. Um, so I'll go through this deck list. This is the version that I like to call the OTK version. There are 3 versions of U7. There's a control version with Victory Strike, an OTK version with Purunga, and an aggro version with Bursting Rage. So this is the OTK version, and at the end of this, I'll discuss a little bit more about the aggro version because I really like that one too. Because you don't need me to sit here and tell you what every card does. Incidentally, what every card does. So SSB Son Goku, he's got the permanent. Any of your cards in your combo area, any of the U7s, they go to your Z instead of your drop. And you can't play Z battle cards, doesn't matter. Whenever you a combo with a card with a yellow U7 once per turn, you draw a card. And when you have 3 or more Z energy or 4 or less life and 2 or more energy, you can flip over, draw 2 cards, and then on the backside it's the same all around, except he has the ability activate main once per turn. You drop one of your Z, switch one of your Goku cards to rest mode, and draw a card, which is really powerful with synergies with Divine Tech, which we'll talk about. So that's the leader. He's very, very good at building Z energy, and he's very, very good at surviving attacks because you're 25k for no value loss whatsoever, thanks to your cycle cards. So he's just a really good leader. He's good into a wide meta, which is what we have at the start of a meta now with the new set. So you've got 4 of each of the cycles. I still believe that this is the correct number. Sometimes you'll see people cut 17 down to 3 or 2. But this card's really good in the mirror match because it hits Majin Vegeta's. It's good in other matchups as well, and it's just really important to have these cycles, especially with the new Mulligan rule. So they're called cycles because when you charge them, if there's a U7 in your combo area, doesn't have to be yellow. It's important for our super combo. And you draw a card. They each have that as a limit 1. They each have a unique effect. Counterplay 7 or less. Play it in rest mode. Warp it from your Z energy. Take 2 of your 5k U7s. Combo with them. 5k combo power. Combo with them from your drop with their skills negated. Draw a card. Top 5 search for a 4 or less. Very important cards. You really want to open with a 1-drop on turn 1. So you really need to open with a Piccolo or a Gohan. I play 60 cards because I really hate decking out. And in one match today, I had 1 card left in deck when the game ended. So I'm very happy playing 60 cards. I don't really want to go less in this version. And so we play 2 Assimilates as an extra 2 copies of the Piccolo. This is key because at 60 cards, if I play 2 Assimilates, I actually have a higher chance by about 6% to open with a 1-drop than if I played 56 cards and no Assimilate. It's about 69.3% likely at 60 cards with the 2 Assimilates to open with a 1-drop,
You
which is
said
exactly what
69? Nice.
I said. 69 nines. Yeah, no, that is not a setup and that is not a made-up statistic. Use a hypergeometric calculator and figure it out for yourself if you want. Your super combo of choice is Backbone. Backbone is typically the correct super combo because your leader will not draw off of it, but your leader will put it in your Z energy automatically because your leader doesn't care if it's yellow or not when it's checking to send it to Z instead of drop. And then when you use one of your cycles, they only check to see if it's a U7, not if it's yellow. So what you'll do, they'll attack your leader. You will super combo, draw a card, combo with a yellow U7 cycle. Your leader effect will trigger, draw a card. And then when you Z-charge the cycle, you'll draw another card. And so you use 2 cards, gained 3. You went net positive on your opponent trying to attack you. It's very nice. So this is usually the correct super combo of choice. However, if you think you're going up against a bunch of OTK builds of this deck, then I would consider removing one of these and putting in the Kefla super combo. That bottom decks a rest mode card at the end of the battle, so that you can get the 6-drop off the board for free, which stops you from getting OTK'd. Then we've got the Goku package. This is a little different than the Nats build. We're still playing 4 of the Legend Recreated, the Redhead. He's still one of the best cards in your deck. 1 mana if you have 3 or more Z. You play him from your Z energy, and you pop one of your opponent's rest mode battle cards. It doesn't matter if they counterplay it or not, because it's all in the activate main window, so they can't stop their card from dying. And then he's a deadly defender when he's in rest mode, which is just a really powerful card. And then only 1 instead of 2 of the blue head, which is deadly defender. Same thing for 1. For 1 energy, if you have 3 or more Z, you can play him from your Z energy. He targets up to one of your opponent's battle cards or unisons, switches it to rest mode, and it holds it down for a turn. So this is a good way to stave off some aggression, or if your opponent has a unison that's a blocker, you can just nullify that. He doesn't come up as much anymore, and there were a lot of cards I wanted to test out today, so I dropped him down to 1. There's a decent chance I'll increase him back to 2 after today, after testing out some cards that I felt weren't very useful. And we'll get into those very shortly. Next, we have 4 Divine Tech, one of the best cards in the deck. You have 3 or more energy and 3 or more Z energy. You pay 1, you play him, you draw a card. And then when he's played, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier for some reason, switch it to rest mode. And then when you use your leader skill to drop a Z to switch him to rest mode, your opponent chooses up to 1 card in their hand, puts it in their life, and then you choose up to 1 of their life, put it in their Z energy. This card was American Sniper for me today. He was hitting super combos. He was hitting everything he needed to hit. So love this card. You always play 4. He has barrier, which is not actually that hard for decks to remove anymore. Now even blue, like Tapion, for example, can just make this go away for 1 energy. But it's still a very powerful card. It's a great use of 1 energy. It's also a blocker. I don't know that I've ever blocked with it. Then we have 4 of the Vegeta, Godlike Power. This is another card that you see list cut down on. They go to 3 or they go to 2. But at the end of the day, you need a lot of U7s so that you can get your cycles off, so that you can get your leader cycling off. So I really don't want to cut this card down. Also, for the OTK build, you want to put your opponent to 4 life. For the aggro build, you want to put them to 3 life. Vegeta really helps with that because he has a 20k dual attack for 1 energy, which is great. He also has the power of a Super Saiyan effect. When he's sent to your Z energy, you rest one of your opponent's battle cards or unisons. Or when he attacks. It's a limit 1. It triggers on the first thing, so if you combo with him early in the turn, he triggers targeting nothing. That's, so mind your sequencing on that one. But 1 mana, 20k dual attack, rest a blocker. Really powerful card. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you would want to run less of him. He's very useful for what you're trying to do in pretty much every version except a control version.
He doesn't say draw a card. He said he bad card.
He doesn't say draw a card, but you know what? He says your opponent discards like 2 cards or uses a super combo. He also has a wild interaction with dual attack cards. So you'll combo with 2 cards, and you'll Z charge one of them, and then your leader will tuck the rest of them into your Z energy. The way that this whole chain works is you can actually, their dual attack guy will restand, and then he will resolve and rest it. So you actually hold down dual attack and triple attacks by using this, which is really strong against the Tapion deck, for example. Because if they go in with it and they don't want to double strike on the first attack, with their 8-drop, you just rest it, which I did today. Now we go into the 4-drops that are not U7s. And here's where we've got a few cards that I was kind of just testing out, and a few cards that I wasn't testing out. One that I knew was good was Majin Vegeta. 1 mana, 25k double strike, draw a card, kill something on swing. It's crazy. If you play against yellow, this is a way to play through the new Bardock negate as well, because you can just send it to drop so you can keep attacking. It's a very good card. Really bad against things like Cooler Mill, but that's okay. You just side it out in those matchups. Helpful to put your opponent to 4, which is the ideal life total for this particular version of the deck, because you can take 4 away from them pretty easily. I would not run less than 4 of this card. It is okay to side out 1 or 2 of them sometimes, depending on the matchup, but I would not run less than 4 in the total. I'm playing 1 Ultimate Duo. I go back and forth on this card. The reason for this is for some early aggression you can get. If you go second, you can play this for 1, and then you can play your Goku's Kamehameha. You go 35 double strike, then you combo 2 cards into it, so you're 45 double strike, and your opponent's probably going to take that, which usually puts them at about 5 or 4 life, which is really good. I really like the negate skill on it. You target one of your opponent's battle cards, negate its skills, KO it. That's good against the Cell Max. It's good against the Hirudegarn that Tapion plays, the 6-drop. It's able to like bottom deck itself, untap an energy. Very useful card. Sometimes I side it out. Sometimes I keep it in. I'll probably keep it in this build just again because it's a cheap double striker and I'm trying to get my opponent to about 4 life. 2 Sin. I didn't really play it today, but I mean, it's going to still be there. It's a little bit harder to play now because we're not on Bursting Rage. So we're not really slowing the game down. We're trying to like attack and be efficient with our energy. Leaving 2 energy up is kind of hard. You just have it for Purunga, but then you have to leave 3 up. You pay 2 for this when they Purunga, negate Purunga skills, and then probably block the Purunga when they swing for 40 because its skills are negated. Still a good card though. I side it out pretty often against matchups like the Tapion match where they just remove it for free. And then the new card, the new kind of disappointing card, which is Bardock, Heritage of a Legend. This is our new World Champ card, our Peonies card. And it's got a wall of text on it. So it's got counter attack, limit 1, play this card. It's a 20k 4-drop, 3 yellow. But luckily, if you have 2 or more Z energy, and your leader is either yellow or a Bardock's crew, you reduce this thing's cost by 3, so it only costs 1. And then 2 or more Z energy is not hard, of course. When it's played, your opponent can't attack with cards. That's unisons, that's leaders, that's battle cards. Can't attack with cards unless they place one of their rest mode cards in their drop areas. And then he has an auto that does nothing in this deck, so I'm not going to bother explaining it. So the idea is that you play this card, and your opponent is like, wow, that's really good, I'll pass. That's not what happens. First off, it doesn't negate the attack, so they still go through. So if they swung with a big card, then it's kind of tough. And then most of the time what they'll do is they'll swing with 1 battle card, play another one, tribute this one off to swing with that one, play another one, tribute this one off. So it really acts like more of a board wipe. A lot of times you need to negate the attack, so it's not as great. I found myself citing out at least 2 copies all day. I played this card 0 times today. I did not feel like I needed it. The one time I was going to play it, just because I had the energy to do it, my opponent Koitsukai'd me, so I just didn't play it. I comboed with it instead. Yeah, it's an okay card. It's just I don't really think it's as strong in this deck in particular because you do so much with your energy, and you want to leave that last energy up for things like a Mutaito or a 17 counterplay or time magic. You don't really want to use it on something that probably doesn't hinder your opponent. It's more of a board wipe than anything else. The one thing it's very good against, though, are dual attack, triple attack, any card that attacks more than once, because they start having to sack their energy off for it. So if you're up against a deck with a lot of dual attacks, then this card is actually kind of good. Outside of that, it felt pretty mid today. Then another card I was testing out that felt kind of mid today was this this baby, Golden Rage. Great use of $25 on my part. So what's this card do? It's a 7 mana, 25k double strike. Of course, it doesn't actually cost 7 mana. If your leader's yellow, you have 3 or more energy, you can play this card from your hand. It has a very unique effect, though. When it's played, you choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards. Then until the end of your opponent's turn, you negate their skills, and your opponent can't attack with skillless battle cards. So in certain situations where you just don't have the removal, you play this card, you choose 2 of your opponent's biggest cards, they become skillless and they can't attack. That's cool. That's really cool. I sided it out most of the day. It's just, I don't know what matchup you really want this for. It's a cool card. It really is. It's okay against Tapion because it's a 7-drop. They don't actually have the ability to remove this in battle. And that was my idea. My idea was that this was for Tapion. Because I can nullify the cards on their board. It's good against nullifying like an Oob, for example, so that I get my counters back. And I don't have to kill those cards. They can't attack with them. And then I just attack and can actually push some damage, potentially. They have to have the Gohan SGR to get rid of it. In practice, it wasn't actually that spectacular. So I don't know. This might go to the side deck specifically for Tapion, or it might get cut from the deck altogether. Then one secret ID. When you're playing against Tapion, swing into them with a 15k, try to bait their leader effect, and then overwhelm for secret ID and warp the 1-drops. It's about the most powerful thing you can do against Tapion. I mentioned Tapion a lot because I think Tapion's probably one of the strongest decks in the format right now. But yeah, secret ID doesn't really need explaining. Neither does 3 time magic. You know what time magic does. You know how powerful this card is right now. Just stopping cards from being able to attack 2 and 3 times or switch themselves to active mode. It's absolutely essential. 3 of them is probably the exact number that I would always want. And then the cards that actually make it an OTK. Your 6-drop, your Purunga, secret rare, Annihilator, and Hunt. And I specifically play 2 Annihilators and 4 6-drops. So let's talk about each of these cards. Because, I mean, we're back to Annihilator days, so here we go. Purunga, this is a brand new card. This secret rare is crazy. It can't attack and it's a 40k. That doesn't matter. Activate main. If your leader is green or yellow and you have 3 or more energy, you play this card from your hand and it gets removed at the end of the turn. There is no way to stop it from getting removed because that's in the activate main window. So even if your opponent negates its skills, big boy goes bye-bye. But why play it? It can't attack. It costs 2 energy. It removes itself from the game at the end of the turn. What does it do that's so great? Well, it lets you make 3 wishes. You can choose limit 3. So 3 times in the turn, you get to choose one of these 3 effects. You can use 3 of any of them or any combination. The first effect, you draw a card, your opponent discards a card. That's ridiculous. The second effect is the one you're going to use more often. You choose one of your opponent's cards and switch it to rest mode. So we lost Cooler, but now we gain Purunga, so you can play Purunga and rest 2 of their energy. Normally they only leave 2 up against you. And, uh-oh. They're in danger. Then the last effect does actually come up. You choose one of your cards, one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier. Everything else, every other battle card goes to the bottom of the deck. So what you'll do with this card is you will pay 2, play it, when you have 4 energy, and generally when your opponent has 4 energy. So if your opponent goes first and you have an energy marker, it's pretty good. You play this for 2, you tap them out. Usually it's 2 energy. You save your 3rd wish if you're against blue. If you're against other colors, then you can go ahead and use your 3rd wish, draw a card, make them discard a card. Then you pay 1 for Goku, the 6-drop. Then you attack their leader. They're tapped out. If they try to use like a Sparking D magic or a Sparking Time magic, you use your last energy to hunt that. And then they probably die. So that is the OTK. That's one of them. The other one is to use Annihilator, Absolute Annihilation. So it might have been a while. I'll remind you what he does. He's a 20k Deflect Barrier Unique. And then he costs 3. There is no way to cheat this card out. It is 3 mana. You will pay 3 for this card. And if your leader is yellow, your opponent can't activate extra cards unless they switch one of their energy to rest mode. Why is this card worth 2 slots in the deck? A couple reasons. 1, the energy marker cannot be switched to rest mode. Purunga cannot switch their energy marker to rest mode. So if they're trying to play around Purunga by leaving up the energy marker, I'll play Annihilator. And the energy marker can't do anything now. If that's the last card they have left up, then they can't use extra cards. That's just how it goes. So when they play around one, they play into the other, and vice versa, which is very nice. Z extra cards. fun fact, the way that the rulebook works right now is if they want to use the effect, if they want to place the Z extra card, there's no tax. But if they want to use an effect on it, he taxes it. So if you're in the mirror match and they're sitting on Kamehameha, then you can play this card, and if they don't have an energy up, they can't use Kamehameha on your 6-drop. So generally what will happen is on 4 energy, you will OTK your opponent with some combination of these cards. If you ever get to 6 energy, you play Purunga, you tap them out, you play Annihilator, you stop them from being able to play extra cards, and then you play Goku and win the game. This is why I think a Kefla at 1 might be a very good idea. So this is the package that makes this deck an OTK deck. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I won, I think, every single game on the back of some combination of the 4 cards that you see on the table now. It's just, they're wild. They really are. You put your opponent on gotta have it. Sometimes if you're playing against blue, you can swing with this. And they might Zeno to get an energy back, but if they're locked under like Annihilation, for example, or maybe they don't have a bean or something, they can Zeno 1 energy back, and then you can use your Purunga's 3rd wish to rest that last energy again, so they can't use like Defending Friends on you, which is really good. Just very powerful cards. I do recommend this build using Purunga because I think it's probably the best of all the builds, but after I go through the side and the Z deck, we'll talk about the aggro build, which I also think has merit. So that's the main deck, 60 cards. It's a pain to shuffle when it's double sleeved, but it's still good, still works. The Z deck, so they took away 3 copies of Kamehameha. They changed the Z leader, so I'm not using Bursting Rage. So the Z deck has so much room in it, and you don't need it. You don't need it at all. There's just a lot of filler. You have the standards. You've got Omen of a Comeback, Goku's Kamehameha, Omen of Victory, and 20x Kamehameha. So Omen of a Comeback, when it's placed, you give your leader 5k for an entire turn cycle, so it's good against aggro. When you play your 6-drop Goku, you put 2 of your life in your Z energy, give it plus 10k, negate the skills of one of your opponent's battle cards, remove this from the game, and then at the end of the turn, you heal back the 2 damage that you took. Very powerful card, again, because you're kind of relying on your 6-drop now. Goku's Kamehameha, it just gives a Goku critical, so against something like Cooler, you can just go in with the crit leader or go in with the crit double strike. And early on, it's kind of hard for them to deal with. Omen of Victory is the card that burns your opponent. It comes up sometimes. Not all that often. More often than not, the way this card comes up is if you have 6 or more Z energy, you can remove this from the game, target one of your opponent's battle cards or unisons, negate its skills for the turn. So if they're trying to go in with something that doesn't have barrier, then this is a good bit of protection that you can kind of just sit on. If they have a card that does have barrier, that's why you play this card, this Mighty Blast. This card specifically is in the deck to stop the Cooler Secret Rare, the Golden Cooler Secret Rare. They play it, they can drop me down to 5 cards in hand, but then they have to attack so that they can rip my Z energy. If I Time Magic, they'll just take all of my Z energy because it stays in rest mode. If I need to negate its skills, that's what this card is for. If I believe that they have Cooler Secret Rare, I can just put this on the board when I have a free energy, and now I'm not afraid of that card. So these are kind of the standard cards that you play. And because we have so much room, we're playing a second Omen and a second Goku's Kamehameha. Because you can. Not once today did the second copy of either of these come up. I don't believe that it will, unless you're in like a 9-10 round event. Then you might have an instance where one of them comes up. Those are the 6 cards. Then you have Z Unisons. Your first Z Unison is Turles. I had a lot of people today ask me, why are you playing this card? Ignore every word on this card except the +0. It gains 10k. So this is a 1-mana 15k. If you need another attacker, or you need a Unison attacker specifically, it's just a 1-mana 15k. That's it. You play 2 of it because whatever. You're probably not going to play a single one in a game, to be completely honest with you. And then you play the other Z Unison, which is the Kaioken Unleashed. It's got Empower Yellow 2. That does not work with Turles because it Empower checks and drop for some reason. So that never comes up. It has an auto. If it's got 4 or more markers on it when it's played, you KO all of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode. It doesn't ignore barrier. So you pay 4 to play this card. That's fine because it has a -3 to gain +10 in double strike as an activate battle speed. So you can play it for 4, clear your opponent's board, and then swing 25k double strike, which is fine. And it's got a +/-0 when your opponent attacks with a battle card. You can choose one of your opponent's battle cards. It doesn't have to be the one that's attacking. Negate its skills for the battle. It's cool. You can rip double strike off of cards if your opponent doesn't read the card. Again, I didn't really play this card today. It's good against things like Hatch. It's good against things like Cooler. It's nice to have access to these unisons, but you don't play them all that often. They're just kind of there. You can pretty much, as long as you have these 4 cards in your Z deck, do whatever you want with your Z. Get creative with it. It doesn't matter. You have so much room because you can't play Z battle cards. In the side deck. All right, so one ofs. I play 1 T-Blow. This is for the mirror match. One of the ways that in the mirror match you can interact with Purunga is to use the Vegito counterplay. When they play Purunga, you play the Vegito counterplay. And now, even if they go Annihilator 6-drop, they're not going to be able to kill you. They're not going to be able to rest enough energy. I play T-Blow for that. I play T-Blow for random decks like Beerus, if I could ever actually draw it. And decks with floodgates like the Bardock Floodgate or Defending Friends, things like that. It comes up. I still like to have one in the side deck. One Release from Evil. I cited this card in a lot. The idea is that if your opponent swings with their Tapion leader first, you can Release from Evil it, and then they get no value out of that Tapion for that turn, which setting them back a turn actually does matter. You can hit Mechikabura, you can hit a whole bunch of things. You can hit the Cooler Secret Rare. I do like the card. I would keep it in here. I didn't use it today, but I mean, it serves a purpose just by existing there.
The Z unisons make it so that you can play it for free too if you have one out, incidentally.
They sure do. They sure do. I didn't play a single Z unison today, but that is an interaction that does exist. That is an interaction that does exist. Jiren. I won't be caught dead at a tournament without a Jiren. Over here in the US, we freaking love our blue decks. We love to turn the tide. I played against Beerus in the final round. His first charge was turning the tide. We love that stuff over here. So Jiren is going to be in my side deck. There's some cute stuff you can do with this Jiren too. Like if you have a bunch of cards in your hand and your opponent pays 2 for the Goku Z battle card that shuffles you down to 10, you can just respond with Jiren and nullify that effect as well. So it's there. It's literally just for blue decks that I'm afraid will play Turning the Tide, and I do not regret it. 2 Koitsukai. After Nats, I wished I had Koitsukai, so I put Koitsukai in. That was pretty good today. I got Oceanist, and he was under Koitsukai, so it cost him 4 cards from hand. That was cool. This card was fine. Against something like Tapion, it buys you 1 turn. For 1 turn, they can't play their cards. So that can kind of come up. It's fine. It's just this is a good meta for Koitsukai. 3 Trusted Allies, Son Gohan. And Destruction is obnoxious. I'm never not citing 3 of these if green is a color in the game. You get hit with the Floodgate, I think it's King Cold. It makes you discard 1 card every time you attack your opponent's leader. So you just discard this card, and it plays itself, and you draw a card, and you're like, yeah, that's awesome. Thanks. Thank you very much. Yeah, great card. Mutaido won me my match against Green Gohan today. I used the energy marker to rest his Vegeta, and it slowed him down by like 2 turns. And then I had the other Mutaido for his 8-drop. So, just good card. I played the mirror match today. I hit the 6-drop with it. If he had T-Blow, he would have tapped out, which meant that I could use my Time Magic sparking, and he couldn't hunt the Demon Planet. So, it was a win-win, and it worked pretty well. I do like the Mutaido. 2 Nimbus. They're in the side deck. It doesn't matter for best of 1 pre-side. I don't think I sided it in at all. I just never really felt like I played against any deck that needed Nimbus. I played against Hatch, Green Gohan, Tapion, Blue Beerus, a mirror match, and the newest Green Broly. So I never felt like I needed this card, but it needs to be here in case you go against something like Jiren. It's not bad against Vegeta Xeno either. Speaking of Vegito Xeno, I've got 2 Heavenly Wizard Demigras. The 6-drop clears their 6-drop clears their 6-drop very well, but if they go first, I can't play the 6-drop yet. So if they do the turn 2 thing and they actually do play their 6-drop, Heavenly Wizard Demigra clears it, which is very helpful. If they choose not to block you for some reason, that's great, but you just use your leader to rest it, and then you swing with anything else. And that's 14 cards. Of course, the 15th side deck card is Broly. Always is, always will be. It's in there because I don't know, it's a totem at this point.
You had mentioned your matchups before. I mean, before you finish the side deck. But do you kind of remember how each round went? You kind of want to explain each round at all, or?
Yeah, sure. Round 1 was Hatch. It went to time. I won by more life. Round 2 was Broly. I went. I think I just used the 6-drop, and I had Hunt in hand to win that match. Round 3 was the mirror match. Purunga 6-drop, Hunt, GG. Round 4.
What build they were playing? Were they running Purunga as well?
No, I think they were on the Dad secret rare, which is probably the worst secret rare you can use for U7. Without Cooler, it's just not. It's just not good enough anymore. The Dad secret rare is the Gohan Piccolo. So yeah, against that match, it was Purunga, 6-drop, Hunt. Let's see. Round 4 was Green Gohan. It was Annihilator, 6-drop. Round 5 was it was Annihilator 6-drop. I swung with the 6-drop. I burned him down to 1 life. Then I swung on his leader. He used 4 super combos before he could finally find his Bursting Rage. But then he was down 4 super combos and had 4 cards left in hand. So I just swung with Annihilator and dumped all 8 cards in my hand, and that did the last damage.
He had the energy up for Bursting Rage?
He had 1 energy. That is correct. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. I was kind of hoping he would like free play the Floodgate and burn that energy so he couldn't use Bursting Rage, but he knew better. So he kept it up to find Bursting Rage. It's just unfortunate because I didn't go all in. I only went 55, so he had to go all 4 super combos and then waste the Bursting Rage buff so that it couldn't attack him again. That was round 4. Round 5, I played against Carrick, and it was really close. He was
on Tapion.
He was on Tapion, yeah. And it was a really close game. I saw 1 super combo the whole game, and my Piccolo whiffed, so I was a little bit on the back foot from the start. He has an opportunity to kill me. He doesn't take it. I guess he thought that I had an answer. And so he passed the turn back. I go to 6 energy. So I play Purunga, Annihilator, 6-drop. And we get in there with that. He couldn't get out of it, so I just OTK'd him. I kept the energy marker the entire time and even put myself in risk of losing the game so that I could win. I played to win instead of playing not to lose. I knew I could not survive another turn cycle. After I played these 3 cards, I had 3 cards left in my hand, and none of them were U7s. But luckily, I had enough Z energy to attack like 9 times with this card. So I think he took 2 life. He knew what the other 2 were because of the 4-drop, so he just conceded. He couldn't find the Zeno. He couldn't find the Zeno that he needed. Which, in that situation, if he had 2 Zeno super combos, he could make this go away with the Gotenks. But again, I'm going to lose if I pass turns, so we got to put him on Gotta Have It. Luckily, he didn't have it. Then round 6, I played against Blue Beerus. He lost the dice roll, got the energy marker. I charged my 4th energy, and he had 12 energy when I charged my 4th energy, but only 2 of them were in active mode. So I knew I either try to kill him now or I lose the game. So I Purunga, rest his 2 energy, play 6-drop. I've got Hunt in hand. He only has one card in his drop area. So I just swing, and it's like, if you've got Hatch, you win the game. If you've got Zeno and a couple cards, you win the game. And he didn't, so I ended up winning the game, which was good. Good for me, anyway. By the time he got to 5 cards in his drop to use D-Magic, I had the Sparking Hunt. I also used my leader effect and rested the 4-drop, and the card that I hit out of his life was the Zeno super combo that he needed. So that was pretty lucky, too. So those were my matchups. The deck felt really good. I do think that it could be better. There are some changes that I would make.
Are you talking about
But
like
overall,
the baby and the Bardox will probably come down?
yeah, the babies will probably come out, and the Bardox will probably come down to like 2 copies. It depends on how popular U7 is. I hate this Vegito so much, but it's just necessary to stop your opponent from going the 6 energy GGs. So I might put 2 of this in the deck in place of 2 of the Bardox, but we'll see. Beyond that, so that's the deck list. Those were the matchups. It was very good. Now, there is a second version of this that's the aggro version. It uses Bursting Rage. And I had to explain to so many people today that you still have a target for Bursting Rage. This Goku here, the one from the starter deck. So in the aggro version, what you do, you put your opponent to 3, and just like old times, you swing with your leader, you Bursting Rage, and you go into this Goku. So he's critical, and he is a Son Goku, not a Son Goku adolescent, not a Son Goku childhood. You can use Bursting Rage to put him on your leader. And then he has an Activate Battle. You place one of your Z in your drop, and you remove a Son Goku childhood from your drop from the game. He gains +10 and Double Strike. And then at the end of the battle, he has the common decency to remove himself from the game. So it's the same old Z leader as the other one. It's just they can actually use their super combos. Removes itself from the game so you can burn them with your 4-drop. And what is the Son Goku childhood that you use, you might be asking? It turns out Saiyan Instincts is a Son Goku childhood. So just play Draw Heap.
That's wicked.
Yeah, you can draw cards with it, or you can use it to win the game with your Bursting Rage. And they took Cooler from you, so you play Instant Kamehameha. You'll swing with your leader. They'll negate if they know you're on Bursting Rage. Nobody negated my leader today. If I was on this build, that people would be dying to the Bursting Rage. So you swing. If they negate your leader, you instant Kamehameha. It untaps your leader, gives it +5, negates its skills. But that's okay. You attack, and then you Bursting Rage. And then when your Z leader is a new card, so his skills aren't negated. Now he's a 55k base. Then when he falls off, your leader has its skills back, so you can burn them still.
Can you Spirit Boost?
So,
you can play an instant for free if you Spirit Boost, right? So you can use Unisons for that?
You sure can.
Yeah.
You sure can. You can pay 3 for this Unison, swing on them, and then you've got this for free, a Spirit Boost 3. So, that's cute. Mm-hmm. What's really interesting about this card that I don't think a lot of people know, your leader does not have to be yellow.
No, it doesn't. It just has to be a Son Goku.
It's just a Son Goku, yeah. So
That's
you can do some cute stuff in like green, for example, because Spirit Boost is really easy there. You just 0 mana, untap your leader, counter. It's pretty good. So I really like this version. I'm going to be testing this version out for a little bit now that I've got the serial Bursting Rage.
What number did you get?
186. Yeah, it's fine. It looks really good in person. Like, the pictures did not do this card justice at all. So, those are the 2 builds. The one I topped with was not this one. The one I topped with was the OTK build. Again, the OTK build centers around these cards. I like having 2 Annihilator. I can charge one of them, and then my opponent doesn't play around the second one, which the Tapion match that I played against did not play around the second one. He didn't think I played 2. So, that's pretty nice. You will win a lot of your games off the back of the 6-drop, so once people start to become more aware of this deck, you're going to have to watch out for things like the Kefla, things like more Zeno super combos. But all in all, when that happens, I'm just going to switch to the aggro version. Whew. God, so that's it, man.
Hell yeah, we're super proud of you, Sublett, coming off your top 8 in Nats to win in the. Is this the first in-person regionals in the U.S. for this season? Yes, right.
Since the new set, I think so. Yeah, I think this is
Europe
the
had
first one.
one. And then there was this one, and then there's a online tomorrow. We'll see you in Peoria too, right?
Probably, most likely. Most likely, I'll be in Peoria. I will be in the Concord Regional as well.
All right.
So yeah,
Okay.
lots of interesting stuff. Lots of cool cards that you can use in the deck, and ultimately, you're still doing the same old, same old.
All right. Congrats on your first place, Sublett. Super proud of you. We'll see y'all the next time he tops. Bye.
Bye.